Well, federal politicians and intelligence analysts are weighing in on a plan to repatriate women and children stranded in Syrian refugee camps with connections to jailed or slain Islamic State fighters. Live to Sky News reporter Joel Philp. Joel, talk us through the leaked plans of this rescue operation.
Well, Tom, reports indicate the plan is to bring back 16 Australian women and 42 Australian children who have been stranded in these camps in the northeastern corner of Syria since the fall of the Islamic State back in 2019. Many of the children are under the age of 6 years old. Some of them were even born there. The opposition says that this is too dangerous a task and that they chose not to do it under the Morrison years.
It was a risk that we as a government weren't prepared to take, and there were a number of parts to that. Firstly, there was the risk that there was going to be to Australian personnel to undertake the mission to bring these people out and to Australia. And that was a risk that was considered to be a high risk, and it was not one that we were prepared to take. There was the radicalisation issue and the fact that if these people came back to Australia, they would pose an unacceptable risk to the communities that they went into. The third part of that was how these people were going to be supervised over the short, medium and long term.
The relatives of those family members who are living here in Australia have found out about the news via media reports and they are vowing to work with all levels of government in any way to make this happen. It appears that, of course, those who are most at risk, most vulnerable will be brought home first. And as part of the negotiations, of course, there's likely to be a major surveillance operation that takes place here in Australia to ensure there's no risk to the Australian community while these people are being reintroduced to their lives here. Tanya Plibersek, the Environment Minister, lobbied for why this should occur.
Well, I think the first thing to say is it's very important to take the advice of our security and intelligence agencies about whether this is safe and the circumstances under which it's safe. But we've got about 40 Australian kids living in one of the most dangerous places on earth in a refugee camp. Some of the women, some of the mothers were taken there as little more than children themselves and married off to IS fighters. Some of them tricked, some of them forced to go there.
Intelligence analysts say that the mission is in fact now more dangerous because it has been so widely publicised in the media, and they say that under the Morrison years there was actually a similar rescue mission that had to be scaled back because of a significant threat.
There was some credible intelligence that a plot was being hatched to actually lure Australian government officials into that environment with the purpose of either killing them or holding them as hostage. So that would have impacted government.
Tom, about a dozen Australian men are also living in these camps. It doesn't seem there's any plans to repatriate them at this stage because many of them are still deemed too great a risk.